Fewer students work around, but usually when you're trying to, while they're not there.
Right.
We got away pretty, we lost a bunch of trees.
Yeah.
But the utilities did.
Good. No rain, fighting.
Yeah, well, a couple isolated things, but it wasn't anything. I think a housing fair work, they've got a lot of people roof.
Yeah. Some of the older stuff over there, like,
Yeah, but no, it could have been worse.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You just never know. I mean,
BFFs.
buildings are built.
Yeah, the thing is on para, like.
Yeah.
What is Pullman plan? And-
Yeah,
we definitely have a
Top one.
farm. I can talk about it.
Geared up.
What is our?
People.
I don't know if you go out,
Bryce.
Grand on the south side, headed towards Colton and stuff.
Yeah, well,
Subdivision.
Bryce, just a minute.
I don't even know what they call it, just before like.
Where's Arabia?
What that clinic.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, they have the brick.
Right at the
Yeah,
end.
oh, they had a beam on it and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's impressive.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
They've had problems with that.
That.
They might want a new contract.
Right, exactly.
It's always a thing. Yeah.
There's enough dirt and other stuff on it out of nowhere. I'm not.
All right.
One of those kind of.
Hey.
Well, you're right.
I'm Eileen. I'm just sort of a.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Go Vandals.
Chad West.
Nice to meet you as well, Lee. Good to see you.
Are you allowed to type that?
Good, we're cleaning up our
Or
trees.
is it like?
Yeah.
Got a lot of land.
No, I don't.
You know,
But if it was Go
Yeah,
Huskies,
he's
that's
lost
about
about-
connecting to Wi-Fi that day.
Yeah, you'd be like, never mind.
But leaving them on my own.
You guys left that many in that last one?
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, the ones that got the attention were the ones on President Grove, but,
It's a really exciting.
as we go through like the Shattuck Arboretum,
Yeah.
some of the kind of far flung parts of the campus, there's.
Yeah, we didn't have any big ones go down, but we had two roofs. We had one building, the blower building at the water reclamation facility, and then we lost the storage building roof at one of the parks and.
We only
That was
had
most of
one
it.
tree hit a bit, one building got hit by a tree.
Mhm.
And then one transformer and, or one generator, sorry. And then we had some shingles off of some of the housing over at South End, old housing. Other than that, it was just trees.
Just trees going out. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Appreciate everybody coming out to our January 2026. Everybody get used to changing the date that you're writing out. You are recording.
Yeah, I started like 2 minutes early, but
Incriminating and.
so I wouldn't forget.
All right, so we are going to jump into introductions and right on cue, we're going to start introductions with some of our new representatives that we have to the committee that we're happy to welcome to PBAC. We'll start with Councilor Bryce Blankenship. Bryce is the new Moscow City Council representative to PBAC. So Bryce, you want to take a minute, introduce yourself to folks?
Yeah, sorry for coming in right on time. I get done teaching at 1:45 across campus, so I was booking it in the sunshine, but happy to be here, happy to learn and work with you all and excited to be the council liaison for this year. I have really appreciated and admired the work that PBAC has been doing for as long as you all have been doing it, and I'm excited to be in this role with you all, so, yeah.
I owe you one for making you do that where you're still winded.
You're great. I'm pumped up. I'm ready to go. Pumped up and ready to go.
LaCroix's on.
That's-
Yeah.
that's right.
All right, and let's see, Sean, do you want to introduce Frank?
Sure. Bittersweet to say I'm leaving this committee as the Public Works Director for Pullman. So transitioning to my new role as the City Administrator for Pullman. But we've hired our new Public Works Director, Frank Mulcahy, and he is here on day 4, so ask him everything.
Welcome, Frank.
Thank you.
Do you want to introduce yourself to the group?
Yeah, just the big thing is, born and raised in New Jersey, joined the Navy to see the world, and they sent me to Staten Island, New York on my first ship. Did about 4 years in the surface Navy, transferred to the Navy Seabees and Civil Engineer Corps, did a 20-year career finishing that. And then did some public works, whether it was Navy Public Works or San Juan County out in the San Juan Islands. And then finally wound up here because the Palouse is such a beautiful place. It's the Tuscany of America, as I find out.
Mm.
And I lived in Italy for 3 years, so fascinating background, but happy to be here.
Great, thanks. Welcome, Frank. We're happy to have you. All right, I'm Tyler Palmer. I am Moscow's staff representative of the committee and the current PBAC chair. Let's go counterclockwise and go with Jeff.
Jeff Lanigan, Director of Utilities at WSU and Vice Chair.
ESB Associate Vice President for Operations at University of Idaho and also a recent addition to the committee. Thanks.
Eileen McCall, former member of PBAC, and you just can't get rid of me.
Mark Story, Whitman County Public Works Director, long-term member of PBAC.
Longest term member. Well,
Yeah.
Paul's not here.
No, I
Oh,
beat Paul.
You beat Paul. That's right.
Chad Wetzel, Whitman County District 3 Commissioner.
Thanks, Chad.
Aaron Gislani, Water Conservation Project Coordinator, staff member.
Perfect. We'll finish up in the room and then we'll go online.
Hey everyone, I'm Grace Pevin. I'm a new research scientist at the Idaho Water Resource Research Institute, IWRI, and I'm just here today to stay informed and listen and learn from you all.
Great. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Mika Hala Waters, or Nikki with the two. I'm a hydrogeologist at Alta Science Engineering, and I do the data logger downloads for the network. I am Rupal Janji. I work with Alta. I'm a hydrogeologist, and I work with Nikki on the data log downloads.
Great. Welcome, guys. Jumping online, Michelle.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, Michelle Richmond, Idaho Department of Water Resources in.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us, Michelle. Lana?
Hi, folks. Nice to meet you all. I'm a senior resilience planner with HDR, and along with Waverly and Jeff. Well, Jeff isn't working on the engagement plan, but Jeff's doing more of the oversight and the PMing. But Waverly and I are focused on the engagement plan. And I caught the joke about Staten Island, having spent many years in that region. That is hilarious that they took you from New Jersey to Staten Island to see the world. So I caught that. Nice to meet all the new folks. Welcome.
Thanks, Anna. Lana Cohen.
Lana Cohen, University of Idaho, Water Research.
Thank you, Aaron.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're on.
Sorry.
Never mind.
Sorry.
That's you, Aaron.
Yeah.
Meg.
Hi all, my name is Meg Wolf. I'm with the Idaho Water Resources Research Institute, here to learn and listen and welcome our new staff member, Grace. So thanks for being in person, Grace.
Great, thanks, Meg. Kyle?
Yeah, good afternoon. Kyle Steele, Environmental Services Manager for the City of Moscow and City Staff Rep.
Thanks, Kyle. Kara Haley.
Yeah, my name's Kara Haley, City of Pullman, City Engineer.
Thanks, Kara. Colt?
Hi, Colt Shelton with JUB Engineers.
All right, I've got a Jeff and a Jeff Hansen. So let's start with the Jeff and then we'll go with the Jeff Hansen.
Well, this is Jeff Stewart, just a landowner in Whitman County that's very interested in what you guys are doing. I think it's wonderful, and I only learned of it recently, and I'm trying to find out more. For what it's worth, the property is where Little Road crosses the Union Flat Creek. So it's in the southwest part of your aquifer.
Welcome, Jeff. Appreciate having you.
Oh, it's great to see you. Thank you.
Jeff Hansen, let's round out our brace of Jeffs.
That's right. Final Jeff. Jeff Hansen, Project Manager, Water Resources Engineer with HDR Engineering, assisting PBAC on the alternate water supply study.
Thanks, Jeff. Patrick Cabbage.
Yep, Patrick Cabbage with the Washington State Department of Ecology's Water Resources Program.
Hi, Patrick. Steve Robichon.
Steve Robichon, PBAC Technical Advisor.
Great, thank you. Chris?
Chris Beard, Washington State Department of Ecology, Water Resources Program.
Wonderful, thanks, Chris. Mr. Clark, Ken? I see that Ken unmuted, but it didn't come through. Ken is the water manager for the Nez Perce tribe, and he also serves on our technical subcommittee. Jake Bender.
Yeah, hey, Jake Bender, project manager with Ardura, just here to listen and stay informed.
All right. Scotty Cornelius.
Just an interested observer.
Great. Welcome, Scotty. And Mr. Lamar.
Hi, Tom Lamar, Latah County Commissioner, and also Director of Palouse Clearwater Environmental Institute.
Great. All right. Thanks, all. It's a little longer today, but it's great to have so many people in on the call and here in person. Mr. Kimmel asked us to excuse tardiness. He's going to be coming. He still thinks he'll make it, but maybe a little late.
I'm not on the board. I can't say anything.
Oh,
Say yes.
Yes.
all right.
That was habit. Also, just as an FYI, City Council for City of Pullman Tuesday reappointed Councilmember Weller to the commission.
Okay, thanks.
Perfect. We'll be happy to have him back. He's been very helpful on our communication subcommittee as well. All right. I believe that gets us through our introductions, and so we'll move on to our approval of the minutes from the November meeting. As you'll recall, we did not hold a meeting in December as is normal for us, and so the minutes that were sent out were for our November 20th meeting. So I would either hear any edits that anyone has or entertain a motion for approval.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion by Jeff.
Second.
I got a second by Chad. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thanks, Mike. The minutes stand approved. Next item that we've got on the agenda is public comment for any items that aren't on the agenda. All right, hearing none, we don't have any unfinished business or new business today, so we're gonna move on to our presentations for today. The first presentation we're gonna have is just our update by Erin on our water conservation outreach program.
Thank you, Tyler. Okay, so we ended our 2025 year with 44 outreach events. We already have 2 on deck for January. We're gonna do the Master Gardeners Open House for Neal Public Library in Washington. Again, just keeping momentum in Washington. That was our big effort last year, and they actually asked us back, which was, a great thing. And then we're gonna do a talk with the Sierra Club. It's like it's an environmental law group in Moscow at the end of January as well. We're going to continue to focus on these larger structural projects, like with the Palouse Discovery Science Center, as well as a partnership with WSU, their ESA, and kind of what we can do to bring maybe some structural changes to water conservation on campus over there. We got a meeting with them later this month to see what that looks like. And as far as our social media goes, we had a 17% increase in followers from our last year, which is a big step. It's about, we went from 295 to 345. And our goal going forward is going to be, once we get the 2025 pumping data, kind of do like another state of the aquifer tour with that updated metric, especially in Pullman, so we can kind of continue to show support for their irrigation audit. And because we have new board members, we're going to do kind of like a little bit of a social media kind of stint with some folks we got. I emailed Lee, Chad, you sent me yours. I'll send you guys the email later today. Those are our most trafficked posts, aside from the state of our Palouse Basin Water Summit. So we're gonna go ahead and just kind of.
And Frank and Bryce, will just kind of entail you guys, it's a video format, you introducing yourself, kind of talking about your involvement on the aquifer kind of thing, or right, the picture, and then and then you get a
like
description.
why you're here, how long you've been here, what you like to do, why it matters that you're part of it.
Great. Okay. Humanize the community.
And that's all I got for updates.
Does anyone have any questions for Erin?
When is the event at Neal Public Library?
That's gonna be Saturday, January 31st from 2 to 3.
Erin, you're doing great work. Really appreciate what you're doing, and it's really getting some momentum. And as we work on fleshing out some of our content for our continued work on the alternate water supply, I think it's going to be all the more important. So that's really exciting.
Oh, sorry, one more ad. The Clearwater River Study Diversion part on our website is live. So if you have a couple minutes to look at it and give me feedback, the only thing that we're going to continue to add is just as we roll up those videos, those small vignettes, we'll update those, but everything else looks good. So if you want to take a look at it and give me feedback, it'd be appreciated. Thank you.
I'd like the committee to be aware that over the past few weeks, Erin has done the delightful, engaging, whatever you want to call it. She's put a lot of time into website updates, especially content related to the potential Clearwater River diversion. So it's It's thankless. Nobody knows about it. It's a lot of work. But she's actually put a lot into that in the last few weeks. And so she's talked about her job, but this is stuff that has been needed and she's able to help with that.
And please do everyone take a look at the website, take a look at that page. If you notice anything that seems like bears editing or have any ideas, pass that along. All right, well then we're gonna move on to B, which is our HDR team giving us an update on their work on our alternate water supply project. Jeff.
Thanks, Tyler. Yeah, we can be fairly brief today, but I think the couple main notes, one on the technical front and one on the stakeholder engagement front. On the technical front, work is proceeding. We're at a point where we're clarifying and confirming water rights related considerations with IDWR. We had some conversations right before the holidays, and now coming out of the holidays, we're going to be doing some follow-up there. That then is informing exploratory work, evaluating feasibility of potential diversion locations on the Clearwater, right around Lewiston, in a couple different areas, informed by these water rights related considerations. So I figure once that gets all fleshed out in a little bit more detail, we can actually show maps and provide a more detailed briefing to PBAC. But that's the focus of the technical work right now, is diversion location and constraints, considerations regarding water rights. On the stakeholder engagement side, I can let Anna chime in here in a moment if needed, but we've been working with the communications subcommittee on developing the stakeholder engagement plan. We've got an updated draft, and Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's going to be going out to the communications subcommittee soon for consideration prior to that meeting next week.
Yes, thanks, Jeff.
Okay. So that's, Anna, is there anything else you want to discuss on the stakeholder engagement front?
I think just that we're continuing, like, as we learn more, as you know, we continue to kind of build this together. We'll make it a living document for now, and then sort of once we finalize it, I still feel like it'll be a living document to some extent, because the more you learn, the more you can continue to add to it as well. But once sort of we finalize it, I think that will be a few months from now as the tech team continues to learn more. So, we just want to reiterate that we're not doing this in a bubble. We're continually talking to Jeff, and he is kind of ensuring that the tech side is very much tied in and aware of what the concerns are, what the questions are, and vice versa. The questions are being answered as well by the tech side. So I'm really happy about that integration, and I think that's making this kind of a much more robust document that I hope will be quite useful. We're trying to keep it short and not let it grow into like a 30-page thing. So we're trying to keep it condensed, useful, and it will be something that everybody can use in the future and have access to as well. So look forward to hearing the feedback from the subcommittee. Is that next week? Yeah, that's next week. So I think that'll be really helpful, and sending it to them in advance if they get a chance to see it. That's always better, so folks have a sense of, coming into that meeting what they can contribute. So yeah, that's it. Thanks. Any questions?
Great. Anyone have any questions for Jeff or Anna?
Do we have a date for that next stakeholder engagement meeting?
It's next Tuesday.
No, we don't.
Oh, for the next SEC meeting. Sorry.
The next SEC meeting.
We don't, because we don't have a date for results from HDR that we'll be able to discuss.
So, and that was the collateral that we had promised the SEG for our next meeting. So we want to make sure we follow through on that, get that put together, turn that to them.
Yep.
But yeah, we want to make sure, especially with those SEG meetings, we want to make sure that we have meat on the bone. That, it's a lot of people making a lot of time for us, and we want to make sure it's worthwhile, that we're not asking them to get together just to rehash stuff that they've already seen.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What's the Nez Perce tribe's point of view on the diversion?
Briefly, Scotty, I guess, and I'm happy to interface offline if you want more details on this. We've been engaging with the Nez Perce for the last several years. in the last year and a half, we've had 3 different presentations to either the tribal executive council or their natural resources subcommittee. And so we've had quite a bit of engagement there. Chairman Wheeler came up and presented at our water summit, at the Palouse Basin Water Summit in October. And so it's been a cooperative process so far. They're obviously interested, and they have a real vested interest, especially in Clearwater River, as that's, you know, really at the heart of a lot of the Nez Perce culture and history. And so it's something that we're very sensitive to and want to continue to have that very open and honest dialogue with the Nez Perce as we move forward.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? All right. Okay, we are going to move on then to our well monitoring report. This is exciting. Michaela.
They've got a USB for iPad. Able to get it back here.
Yes.
We're gonna get presented.
That always works flawlessly.
Yeah, every single time, about 30% of the time.
Then. So if. Yeah, you know what to do. Oh, maybe.
I don't know what this is. Who's done that? Does that mean? It's like, actually, I think it's because you plugged it.
There we go. It went away.
It's not showing.
Might be that's why.
Plug it into your computer.
It is the computer on the back.
Or we could just plug it into one of our computers and share. That's also.
Might be.
Share from your-
Yeah, I don't have, actually, if you want to plug it into yours and we can make you co-host, be preferred, please.
That's usually our best and most reliable workaround.
But so. And then we share it.
It's actually a temporary computer, so it's old and clunky.
I know, mine doesn't have the USB away.
Yeah, I love it. It's great. All right.
Oh, you're great.
Phase.
Oh,
So.
you'll have to join the meeting.
So-
Join the
Passcode is PBAC. Can you do the remote buttons?
Someone for
Password is capital G, Go Vandals, capital V, exclamation point, right?
Thank you. What's over here? Working on it. Think.
Well, she brings that up. I can do some updates just to keep this rolling along. We have, not next week, but the following, there is the Association of Idaho Cities has their water summit. And that's something that, we've gotten some pretty continual support, from the governor and his administration in the state of Idaho. They've been really good about funding major water projects. They've included, $30 million annually for the, Idaho Water Resource Board, which is that's the money that we tap for the current project that we're working on. They granted a chunk of the money that we're using for that project. And they have us in the queue for some more significant funding as we move toward a project. And so that's something that I'll be down there for that. The lieutenant governor is going to be running that water summit. So that'll be a good one. And then in March, I believe it's called the Surface Water Users Association. They are doing their conference in Boise, it's a big national group, and they have to be doing their conference in Boise, and they caught wind of our work here on the Palouse, and it hits all of the components that they're really interested in. As far as we have a collaborative effort, it's been highly collaborative. We're working cross-border, multiple entities, and so we've been asked to present at that conference as well. So that'll be a good opportunity. Again, it's just kind of cool that nationally people have heard of what we're trying to do out here, and that's pretty cool. Cool.
So we're just a couple more minutes.
Oh, no, you're good.
Getting closer.
And then the last one, brief update is Lee and I actually were up in Coeur d'Alene at the Association of Idaho Public Works Professionals meetings in November.
Somewhere October, November, yeah.
And they'd asked the university to come present their water conservation plan, and that was very well received by all of the folks there. There was a lot of interest in what the U of I had done with that water conservation plan. So it was just another group of professionals that were pretty excited about how serious the University of Idaho had been in putting together a water conservation plan. So it was pretty cool, and appreciate you coming up and doing that, Lee.
I think it went well. I can also do finance stuff if you want. Keep it moving.
Yeah, let's jump ahead and do our finance update.
All right, so not a whole lot to report. I'll just go down through the various funds here quickly. So in the PBAC admin labor fund, the fund balance is 42.5. The only major thing there was the $90,000 transfer for professional services from the committee admin fund. We are still waiting for the Latah County addition for conservation outreach. So that's the Palouse Basin Aquifer Committee prog fund. And then as far as the Palouse Basin Aquifer Committee admin fund, we will be doing the $180,000 transfer to the city at the appropriate time. Anything else you want to add there?
Just to clarify, from Latah County, it's the annual dues.
It's our annual assessment.
Okay.
Yep. Sorry to confuse it. That was a different thing.
And you were clarifying that the $180,000 is for the study.
Yeah, it's for
Transfer to Moscow. Why are you paying Moscow?
And that's for the study and
Ministry.
and just to clarify, we've earmarked that 180, that will be billed in increments. And so is the way that that's being done is the city is administering the contract on behalf of PBAC. The Idaho Division of Water, we receive bills from HDR, we pay the bills, and then we seek reimbursement from the Idaho Division of Water Resources up to the amount that they have agreed, the 182,500. We got a 10% holdback we have to hold. So we'll get up to that point, and then from there, we'll start sending the bill to the University of Idaho against PBAC's accounts until we've exhausted funds and completed the project.
So that full amount is budgeted for the current fiscal year, but I don't expect it to fully be spent.
Yeah, I suspect we'll
fiscal year.
Yeah.
Bleed into 27.
Yep.
We'll rebudget.
Mm-hmm.
Come up with a new.
Yeah, when we pass the 27 budget, we'll reallocate funds for that project.
July 1st.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll exhaust the Water Resource Board funds first before we start to seek reimbursement from the Space and Aquifer Committee with the University of Idaho as their fiscal agent. All right, are we ready?
The internet is a little bit of an issue.
You're not able to connect to the guests.
Well, I can't approve
It might be faster if I do this.
Yeah, an authenticator right now, so
Let me see if I can do this quicker.
trying to do a couple.
No
I
pressure.
think it's, well, at this point, if someone has a laptop that has a USB port that can access the Zoom, and then we'll just make you co-host.
Oh.
Tyler's logging in like lightning over here, so.
Recording in progress.
Whoa, there we go. All right.
Feedback.
Okay, you've got that USB.
Nikki
There we go. All right.
Tyler can do it through his USB.
All right, it's Tyler, your co-host.
All right.
Give him the USB.
There you go.
Thanks. I tried really hard.
You did.
God, you don't like you.
This is also doesn't want like a random computer.
Right.
Sign up.
All the co. I'm not allowed to say that to our IT team.
No worries.
Right.
Okay, which one is it?
I can't see the iron.
This one? Or not, alt trivia. You don't want that. Back,
Yes. There. And then it's that one.
this one.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. I need to share my screen. All right.
I've got a quick little update for everyone. This is my second year doing the event downloads, and this year went great compared to last year. So I've got a nice, concise presentation for you.
You can just, I can just move it forward as you need me to.
Okay, so I created this little chart just to maybe give you a little bit of sense of all of the loggers, because we have loggers in 34 locations. Some of them are owned by PBAC, some are owned by DOE, and some are owned by IDWR. And so the overlapping areas are where we have multiple loggers. We have some, they have some. The barrel loggers are at 4 different locations, and so I have those kind of in there. The same, but 28 PBAC locations, and then the rest of our locations are from support from IDWR and Washington Project.
Do you mind, can we like maybe move up a little bit? They're having difficulty
Okay.
on the.
Talk a
on the
little
Zoom.
louder.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll say this quick one more time. We've got 34 sites, some owned by PBAC and some by DOE and IDWR. And so we've got 28 sites that have PBAC loggers, and the rest of those 34 is from support from IDWR and DOE. Next, please. So I was able to access all 34 sites this year, but we were only able to download data from 32 out of those 34. The DOE location had a logger and a diver that we weren't able to download. And then the Wazoo 3 logger fell down to the bottom of the well. And the diameter of that well is about this big. So tried my best, but couldn't get one out there. So, so we were able to get 32 out of 34, and then 2 out of 4 barrel loggers, which I think I was able to get a couple. So I think probably the other 2 were dead, but I spoke with Steve about that, and we have the barrel loggers mostly for additional research. PBAC doesn't use them directly. I replaced 2 loggers based on recommendations from last year at Appaloosa and Moscow Cemetery. Those loggers were running fine, but they are 10 years old, and so that's how we replace them. I completed the summary memo, which will be coming to you guys soon, and I updated the data logger status sheet and the binder with all the information on
So
the
did we replace the lost logger at well 3 at WSU?
Yes, I was going to mention that in
Okay.
the next slide.
All right. Let's
Yeah.
get to it.
So moving forward, I do recommend that we do 3 new loggers for next year. I replaced the logger at Wazoo 3 with one of the ones I removed this year. So that would be the newest out of all the loggers that we have. So that should hopefully give us data for the next 6 or 7 months until I get back out there. But kind of per the age and battery life, like how we determine if we're going to replace loggers, Wazoo 3 is on my list anyway. So I'll get to that in a second, but I wanted to just touch on a few other things. We've calculated this recommended replacement interval. I hope you guys are familiar with that. I don't know. I think Kyle did something with that a while back, but I budgeted in. Yes, exactly.
Part of the
Okay.
plan, so we budgeted.
Perfect.
Yep.
Monitor new wells as they are drilled. I don't think we have any new wells that we're considering next year, but we keep it in the back of our mind. And I wanted to give a thank you to DOE and IDWR again for supporting the network. And I know that Scotty is on here, so I want to say thank you to him as well, because he allows us to take data from his private well.
Thanks, Scotty.
Yeah. Next, please. So for planning ahead, there are 5 loggers that were set to expire in 2028 because they were purchased and installed in 2018. One of those being Wazoo 3, like I mentioned. Shumway is on there as well. It actually was not purchased in 2018. It was purchased in 2020, but the time drift on that logger is over 10 minutes. I've had to restart it every year. So I'm worried it might die before we get to 2030, actually. And then I spoke with Steve, and since that DOE site is kind of right in the middle of the basin in between Pullman and Moscow, I don't think we were able to get all of the loggers to download last year either. So I would recommend if we could budget for 3 loggers this year to add a new logger there and then replace 2 of our loggers that are set to expire in 2028. The 3 out of 4 IDWR loggers are in that bunch, and so I kind of staggered them. So we replace one this year, next year, year after that. Again, just in case any of them die, we're not able to get data. Go next. I think, yeah, that's my last one. So any questions? It's kind of a crash course on 34 different wells, but gave no issues and we were able to get data.
Great, Michaela. Thank you. Great work. This is so foundational to what we do. It's how we've one identified and gained a scope for the issue, and two, how we'll gauge success as we move forward with alternatives. And so it's really critical work, and having this historic, continual, accurate work done is absolutely critical. So thank you. Thank you so much for your work on this, and we appreciate Alta being a great partner. Does anyone have any questions for Michaela?
Yeah, just for our new people, what's the cost of the individual loggers?
Right. So we estimate around 750 per logger. And so that's 1,500 a year, but if we want to go for 3 next year, it's around 2,200.
And you guys, does Alta procure those through your contract?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have in the past, yes. We've included that in the annual contract cost that comes before the committee for approval.
And we keep a contingency for what a string breaks or something.
We need fish one out of the well.
Well, yeah, she took some extra time on that, things like that.
Any other questions?
Just one, that price includes installation, purchase and install?
We have a certain number of hours budgeted for my field work. And so when I go to any of these sites, I'm assuming there's still a working logger there. So I'll be there anyway to download data, but before I leave, I can just swap them out.
So it's basically included in fixed cost already covered.
Yeah.
And we have a little bit of a contingency so that if some of that labor is necessary while they're on site to install the equipment, we've got some buffer in there. And so we'd have to exceed the contingency before we needed to come back to the committee to request additional funds.
So the logger is a capsule that hangs from a line.
Okay.
So installation isn't, you have to tie a good knot.
Okay, so it's not rocket science.
No.
Or labor
They're
intensive.
No, you have to know where it is. You have to spray for yellow jackets.
Sure.
It's more that kind of thing, but it's not it's more about knowing where they are and knowing who to ask for the key, really, than.
And what tools you need. So if you walk 20 yards out to the site and you don't have a screwdriver that you need, you don't have to walk all the way back. That's why the first year was a little rough for me. I didn't have all that information.
Yeah.
The caps on the loggers actually, it has a little loop to tie into, and then it just screws. So it's even simpler than you think to replace it. I can just unscrew the old one and screw the new one.
So it's good.
Yeah, very quick.
Any other questions? Michaela, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Stop sharing.
We'll get my.
And we are going to now move on to our subcommittee reports. And our first subcommittee report is going to be the communications subcommittee.
I can do that
And
on Paul's behalf.
Yeah, please, Mike.
Okay, so the stakeholder outreach plan for the Clearwater River potential diversion has been covered. And I'm gonna let Tyler talk about the videos because I think you have more knowledge about that.
Yeah, so we discussed this, I think, with the committee at our November meeting. One of the things that we identified through the communication subcommittee and in our coordination work with Anna and the HDR communication staff was a desire to create some accessible, quick, modern format videos that are explanatory and do a lot of the basic Q&A stuff. Because, a lot of the questions, I think any of us who've been at this for long, you realize that there are a lot of very repetitive questions that we get. The concerns that we get, there aren't too many. Every once in a while you get one out of left field, you're like, oh, that's not one I've heard before. But by and large, there's 7 or 8 concerns that we hear all the time. And usually, when it really hit me is I was sitting in the summit with one of our former city council people, Julia Parker, and she asked me a question about the recharge versus direct use. And it was a question that it took me about 60 seconds to answer. And then a question was asked from the crowd to Jeff, a very similar question. And she leaned over to me, she said, I can answer that now.
Yeah.
And it was something that I thought, you know, this is what most people want, is just like, okay, I want to know, one, that it's been thought of, and two, that there's a response to this. And so we've set out, we generated a list of potential videos. We've got an initial list, and we've got different people that we're going to be asking from within PBAC to be the spokesperson for these different videos. And so it'll just, you know, it'll be like covering those questions, things like we've asked, I believe Kara with the city of Pullman was going to cover for us the question of aquifer recharge. What does that mean? What's ASR? Are there risks? What about contamination? And just hitting on some of those real high level ones. And so we've got an initial draft that we want to show everyone of just the introductory video. Mike and I got together with Corey Oglesby, who's the city of Moscow's all things communication, and he does a wonderful job. And so Corey has put together this initial video. We will be sending this out and soliciting feedback. We've got initial feedback from the HDR team and communication subcommittee. We'll be sending it out more broadly for feedback. So not really looking for specific content feedback at this point. There are a few things with this video that you'll immediately notice. Like, one of the main things we want to do is interface with Ken and the tribe to make sure that it doesn't sound like we think history started when white European settlers came to the area. We want to make sure that that's the case, which the current video doesn't have that component. We want to interface with the Nez person, make sure that we're paying proper homage to the fact that they were here and they've been stewards of this for a long time. Things like that. There's a few editorial things we already have. More than anything with this, just kind of the general vibe of the thing, like what you guys think of the approach, because what we'd like to do is just, once we have a format that we're going for, it'll be really helpful. So we plan on adding some additional B-roll to this, but let's go ahead and just play the video just so everyone can kind of get a context for it. Mike, have you got that queued up and ready to go?
I don't.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Tyler.
That's
I don't
okay.
have it.
I can.
Except for, you know, when you sent it to me a few weeks ago, I don't have it.
Oh.
Other than that.
So I don't think did you send it out to Combs?
We sent it. We did it. A smaller group within comms did an initial feedback on it. All right, here we go. I may need us to. Can we mute the main one, because I'm gonna have to turn on the.
Oh, like mute, yeah, Mike, go ahead and just turn your.
Otherwise, we're gonna need some real echoes here.
Far left.
We can see it online, but we can't hear it.
Mouth is tender.
Yes, it is.
Do this again. We're gonna have.
We hope this works.
All right, here we go. Trying again.
Of water, and when the area was settled, that was artesian wells. And artesian wells are just wells that are under pressure in the ground. We have very thick clay layers here on the Palouse, and so if you pop a hole through the clay layer and the whole system's under pressure, the water just spouts out of the ground. So early on, the water was spouting out in amazing rates. There was a well in downtown Pullman producing 3 million gallons a day. And so people were excited and the area was settled and hey, we've got this source of water, therefore we can have a city here. But really quickly, they noticed that those levels started to decline. Instead of just spewing out of the ground at 3 million gallons a day, they were having to pump from a foot down and then 2 feet down and then 3 feet down. Sometimes the decline was as much as 3 feet per year. So as you get into the early 1900s, Great Depression era, they're really starting to realize, oh my gosh, we might have an issue here. And so conversations started in earnest about an alternate water supply. The original organization that was founded was called the Pullman Moscow Regional Water Committee.
I say it wrong, and then it shows up in writing to correct me, so that's another edit.
Very humbling. I think a lot of that just has to do with the complexity of the issue and the cost of the issue. It's not cheap, it's not easy, and it's not getting any cheaper or easier to try and solve the problem. The last several decades, we've been working on identifying a solution through a very lengthy process with a lot of work, a lot of technical work, a lot of outreach to partners throughout the region. We have landed currently on the Clearwater River as our most viable alternative, and we're working on that alternative. And we're really excited to be at that point. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram. We try and keep those updated with current information. And then also our website's a great resource, bluesbasin.org. You can take as deep a dive as you want on that website. We have a lot of historic information. You can go back and look at the full body of research that's been conducted. You can look at the alternate supply study where we take a look at all the potentially available supplies and try and narrow it down and prioritize alternatives. We'll be posting all of our updates on that site and also information about all our meetings. We want to hear from everybody because this is ultimately a community challenge and it needs to be a community solution. We want you to be involved.
All right.
Who was that guy?
I don't know. I mean, he's got a face for radio, but.
Yay, Tyler.
The whole world is because of the availability of water.
gotta
The
kill
reason
this
that Moscow and Pullman are where they are is because of
This
water. And when the area was settled, that was artesian wells. And artesian wells are just wells that are under pressure.
Oh, man.
Hearing your
Oh,
voice.
this is terrible. Remind me to never do that again.
Heard it once.
All right.
I think I've seen him on TV. Good sitcom.
Over and over.
So that's kind of the idea. We've got, we've reached out to folks that we've got slated to cover different components, different videos. Said I think we've got 7 identified for the initial production. And then the idea is that as this evolves and we continue with the project, we're going to get different questions because we're going to be presenting different information. So it'll be a mechanism by which we can generate a library that can live on both our social media and on our website. So that when folks are getting questioned, and especially people that may not be as baptized in the issue, if we've got, an elected leader getting questions or just a community member, that it gives a link that can quickly be shot out. And so it's like, oh, hey, Councilman Blankenship, what about this? And he's like, watch this. If you got more questions, come back. And so just arming them with a lot of the information in a very digestible format. Comments generally about that, any ideas? Happy to field those now. Like I said, this is our first rough draft, and then we want to refine this and get a good format that we then utilize as we go forward.
I hate to be that person that says, well, have you thought of, but I'm gonna be that person right this minute. Do you have an economic development slot in your 7 questions?
Like, how's it gonna be paid for?
No, actually, this came up with the initial stakeholder, I think, meeting. Somebody says, well, how is abundance of water, lack of water, water management fit into potential economic development in the region?
Mm-hmm.
Because that was a big deal when they were talking about the canola plant.
Yeah, okay.
So there will be.
Do you mean because we have a question slated for as far as development in the town, is that what you're referring to? Okay, as our town grows, how is our water? Okay, so that is one of our questions.
Yep.
Super, yeah.
Do we have somebody identified for that?
Yeah, we have someone, I'd have to look back at the spreadsheet. I think it's Paul Kimmel.
So the questions, can I go over the questions just real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Why the Clearwater? Can conservation solve our aquifer problem? Are there opportunities for passive recharge? Tribal consideration and stakeholder engagement, landowner concerns, risk of contamination, how will the project be funded, what is the expected timeline, and how much water will be diverted? So those are our top frequently asked questions that we can start to
that's the first batch that we've identified that we want to knock out.
I think that the video was great. The time for me seemed pretty decent, but have we looked into how long does the average person want to watch a video? And can we maybe if people have a very short attention span. So can you take excerpts from that and give people just a little bites? I mean, the video is fine in my opinion, but
We're trying to stay around 90 seconds.
Okay.
Is what we're trying to do. That's, a lot of the research shows that if you get much longer than that,
right,
you're losing people. And so 90 seconds is our target as we're putting these out.
Perfect.
It might be pretty easy to do 30-second segments from those 90-second
Yeah.
ones to do.
Oh,
Saying
with
just like some
adjustable
sound
tone.
bites
Yeah.
or
Mm.
even more specific.
Well, it
Yeah.
can live, that's, yeah, like, well, it started off at being 5 minutes and that was like, there's no way, there's no way. The average person looks at, yeah, like our Instagram story for 10 seconds.
seems like you either gotta be like around that minute mark or you gotta be an hour plus for people to watch.
So they'll live on our YouTube and those can live in like a longer, so a YouTube
Yeah.
short can be about 3 minutes, like 25 seconds or something like that. And then we can like, to your kind of suggestion, we can even bite size that down towards our Instagram and like, they'll live on their long form on our website and that'll be on YouTube, but in order to catch people's attention, we can play around
Have our
with
hooks with
those
those.
two
Yeah.
You can do regular segmentation of the smaller segments on different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, like
Yeah.
every Friday,
Yeah.
we'll just throw something out.
The
like,
channels I
frequently.
like have a combination, because what they'll have is short 30 to 90-second ones, but they also on the same channel will have longer ones, so
If you want more, you can go get it.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
you know, the history of the aquifer, if you're really excited about it, then there's a good 8 to 10 minute one.
Mhm.
People will go for that.
Yeah,
If that's all your choices, people may skip.
right.
TikTok is, we can't do that in the state of Idaho.
Yeah.
What's that?
TikTok.
Currently an option.
Yeah.
We can't, do our state system.
Also, it turns people's brains into mud. We don't need TikTok.
Any other general suggestions?
Aaron, you mentioned those questions you just rattled off. Maybe I missed it. What's the process for how we're gonna address those again?
So we're gonna link the videos to each of those frequently asked questions. If you like look on the website, they're meant to be like built down. So I'll include like a very brief written synopsis just in case videos aren't people's forte, and then we'll link the YouTube video.
Okay.
So it'll live in our FAQ and then that'll just populate as a library of FAQs that will include text and then video, so that we're trying to hit people who prefer the different media for interacting.
Yeah. And again, like this is all can be succumb to feedback. So if this doesn't work, we can always adapt.
Yeah, that was just what I was thinking about. It's just some of those aren't necessarily
video like
a black or white kind of answer. And so how do we?
Definitely like tribal consideration, stakeholder engagement. That one's like when we're really trying to make sure we're being respectful of. And I don't think that's going to be like a 30-second video. Some of them might just be text. And that's, I think, will be sufficient enough if we put enough effort into it.
Sean?
What process is in place to, for lack of a better word, fact check everything that the speaker is saying? To make sure that we're not.
Having just heard Tyler.
Having just heard Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, it could use some fact checking.
But to make sure that everything that's being published is what we want to be published.
I like that.
And the reason I asked that, you made it one sentence that caught my eye in there was, or caught my ear, was it's the most viable option. And is that the truth?
Mm-hmm.
And are we ready to say that? That really the message we want to put out there.
Seems to be.
This is, I think that's a really good point, is what we don't want to do is put out misinformation, because that could undermine the credibility of the whole thing. I think that bears formalizing. I think that we probably ought to formalize the process. You know, at this point, we were going to send this out to all of the communication subcommittee, get all their comments, make the edits. We've already got initial comments from the HDR group. Myself, Paul, and Mike have looked through this. We've got initial comments, some edits we want to make before we even roll it out to the communication subcommittee, get their comments. But I think that at that point, we certainly should then roll it out to the technical subcommittee simultaneously with the communication subcommittee would be my thought. And then as the last check, roll it out to the full committee and just make sure that everybody's had a chance to look at this. So we could look at it from the communication standpoint, from the technical standpoint, and then we also look at it as a whole committee just to make sure that A, the message is accurate, and B, it's the message that we want to put out there. I like that.
It's meant to be like, yeah, like really structured. Like I know it's like fun in their videos and stuff, but
Fun is great. We
you
just
know,
want to make sure the
yeah,
information
the
is accurate.
content is
That's a good call.
very congruent with everything that we've got on.
Yep.
Any other general thoughts? All right, well, we're gonna keep churning, so we're gonna get this draft. So the next steps for this is we'll get this draft to the point that we're submitting it for comments to technical and communication subcommittees. We're gonna make a couple edits, get it out to them, and then we'll be back to the full committee. And then once we have that approved by the committee for publishing, we'll go ahead and publish that, and then we'll start working on the next ones. And so at that point, I'll be scheduling, Corey will be reaching out, scheduling with the individuals across all of our organizations that we're gonna tap for these. And then the other thing I'd just ask is, as we're doing this, as you guys are hearing questions in your community, keep track of them. You know, if there are things that you think, you know what, it would be great if we had some sort of pithy, concise thing that we can send out, then we want to be able to maintain a list of those so that we can keep the ball rolling. All right. Any other questions, comments on that? Perfect.
Like the direction.
Okay,
Let's do the
colloquium.
So we've been talking for a while now about conducting a research and technical colloquium to convene at first academics from we have two big universities right here, and we have a lot of knowledge, and a lot of it is highly applicable. But also convene other geology and hydrology professionals from the region, and potentially policy folks, elected office staff, and so on. So I've talked to Paul about this over the last few weeks, and I went ahead and did a preliminary agenda because these things kind of get moving sometimes. So this will be looked at by the communications subcommittee next week. But what we're looking for in draft form is hosting something on March 11th, which is 8 weeks from yesterday. I have confirmed availability of a really good group that I'm pretty excited. One of them is on the call. So Meg Wolf from IWERI is available to be here and talk about the Idaho water research prioritization process that they did last year, which is a pretty impressive effort. Dr. Jeff Langman is available to talk about his PBAC funded work into investigating passive aquifer recharge zones in the basin, which, okay, I can understand that. But then he can also talk about how the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute samples taken in 2022 have led to this. And Jeff Flanagan and I were emailing a couple times. I don't know what he's talking about, but it sounds like good science. And
I'm hoping Dr. Lehman can make
it's
English out of that report.
It's been accepted by highly regarded peer-reviewed journals. I don't have to understand it to say, okay, it's good science. Dr. Langman is available for that. From Washington State University, we have availability of something that I think it's time to talk about. So a professor who looks at water law governance. So if we get to the point of having some water that is actually shared not only between entities, but across the state line, how does that work from a governance standpoint? She's available. There's another person who has done a lot about Columbia Basin groundwater availability. I don't have her confirmation yet. I'm probably leaving something out.
And then HDR.
Oh, thank you. And then HDR. I hope that this is HDR's opportunity. Jeff's listening to say things that I don't know what they're talking about then, but we will have people in the room who do and can ask them hard questions, and so it'll be that opportunity. And initially, and it's, at first we were thinking about a 3-hour meeting, and now I'm wondering about that. But what information can we gather from an academic and technical group as far as what are further research needs? What other useful information to the basin do they have that we don't know about? So some information gathering. So we're looking at that. I am expecting that if this goes the direction it is, that we'll be able to announce this next week.
We've got some tentative target dates in March.
I'm targeting March 11th right now. So that's
Are
a
you looking at
Wednesday,
Morning, afternoon, evening?
late afternoon.
Late afternoon into evening, yeah,
Yeah.
and just as a reminder, we have conducted a research colloquium. This isn't our initial or inaugural, we've done one in the past.
Been a while.
Just been a while, and we're to the point now where we think it's a good time to reengage.
So late afternoon, provide snacks and beverages, neutral, off-site where parking is available. And then specific location to be determined.
Great.
Anyway.
Does anyone have any questions for the communication subcommittee? Questions about colloquium? All right, there's plenty going on. It's a busy time. Technical, I don't think you guys met, right?
We did not.
Okay. That gets us down, since Lee was kind enough to accelerate the finance report, to any other reports or announcements that anyone might have. Okay, our nenext meeting is scheduled for February 19th. I will not be around, so Jeff is gonna be taking that meeting on my behalf. Look forward to seeing everyone then. So, with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. All right, thanks, Chad. Let's get out of here. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, we have the colloquial and. Well, maybe.
Conversation about.
The two.
So they,